Come on, give it to them. Hey, give it to them. Come on, hey, give it to them. Give it to them.
Peace, peace, peace to all the party people in the place to be. Welcome into Men of a Certain Age. This is episode 19 of
Give it to them. Come on, give it to them. Hey, give it to them. Come on, hey, give it to them. Give it to them.
So y'all know what we're here for. We're here to give it to them. So as always, I got my team in the place to be with me. Say what's up to the people, Josie.
It's Josie the Kid. What's going on with y'all? Another week down in the bullshit. I'm definitely feeling it, and I need to get it off my chest so I can make it another week. You can't carry this shit with you back-to-back weeks. You just can't.
No doubt about it. And of course, I got my cousin with me, P Double Panero. How you feeling over there?
Peace, peace, peace. It's your mans in them. 716, stand up. Josie, I love your shirt, man. I just want to let you know and
Man,
let the
appreciate
world
that.
know.
Shout out to Mila.
We loving your shirt, B.
Shout out to Mila for picking out the young top for Josie the Kid.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
Give me that tropical vibe at home.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. Again, this is Give It to Them Friday, and we're gonna recap on some of the things that have happened within the last couple days, within to a week. You know what I'm saying? So within the last couple days, y'all, was the 4th of July. So Josie, how was your 4th this past Tuesday?
Man, so I ain't really do too much of nothing. For some reason, I'm burning the candle at both ends.
So P, how was your 4th, Lord?
The 4th was on a Tuesday. And plus, the older I get, the more knowledge I acquire, the less I celebrate the 4th. So I celebrated Juneteenth. That was my 4th right there.
There you go. That's the Independence Day.
Same word. Salute. So my 4th of July, y'all, thank y'all for asking, was business as usual.
How was your 4th, bro?
How was your 4th, bro?
How was your 4th, fam? Let us know.
It was business as usual. I worked, man, but unfortunately, it was business as usual throughout the country as well, man. There was a lot of bullshit that went down on the 4th of July, man. But from Philadelphia to Baltimore to Texas, man, it's a sad tale. And what I did, man, was I picked up a clip from what happened in Philly. I'm going to play that for y'all, man, and then we're going to come back on the other side and chop it up about that, all right?
Philadelphia officials are giving an update on a mass shooting that left at least 5 people dead and 2 children injured. Let's listen.
On what was supposed to be a beautiful summer evening, this armed and armored individual wreaked havoc, firing with a rifle at their victims, seemingly at random, shooting 7, killing 5, including children, babies.
Philly, we looking real fucking sad out here, Philly. 8 niggas shot out southwest, 4 niggas dead, 2 kids shot and somebody grandma. When the fuck niggas, kids, and grandmoms been on the menu, man? When has niggas, grandmoms, and kids been on the menu, man? It was a time you seen a nigga, you was beefing with a nigga, you seen him with his kids, you gave him a pay. Ooh, nigga, you lucky you with your kids, bitch. Because you didn't even want that type of karma on you because the kids ain't had nothing to do with this shit. Now y'all can see a nigga, he riding down the street, he with his grandma, his aunt. Y'all shoot the whole fucking car up, try to shoot fucking milk of magnesia out his fucking grandma like she had something to do with that shit, man. And you niggas is not even beefing over no fucking money. You mean to tell me you willing to go to jail, sit in jail for 1,000 years for shooting niggas that you didn't even mean to shoot? And this shit ain't even about no money. Come on, man. We gotta get back to the old Philly, man, where niggas was into getting money, man. Niggas was into getting bitches, niggas was into being fly, and niggas didn't want no motherfucking trouble. We'll shoot you till you catch on fire, but we don't want no trouble, nigga. We trying to get money, man. We gotta get back to that, man. You niggas out here shoot niggas about Instagram captions. You said you was gonna spend, you ain't spend yet. All right, we spending the day. Man, y'all niggas tripping out here, man. Keep niggas, kids, and grandmoms off the fucking menu, man.
Man, shout to Gilly, man, for keeping it 100 with these youngsters out here, man. Out here with no morals, no code, nothing, man. You know what I mean? As
And
they
like you said, they killing for nothing. It would be different if you smacked my grandma, if you stole my bread, if you was trying to scam me out some property or something. Now we got a problem, but y'all just beefing for nothing. It's just crazy. You gotta die because you said something. Freedom of speech ain't free in America. It ain't got nothing to do with the system.
There's no code of ethics. There once was, like Gilly was saying, there was street ethics at one point.
It was street rules when they was being passed down from generation to generation, from OG to young buck. Now the young bucks is out here, they ain't listening to the OGs. The OGs don't care to speak to them little niggas because they gonna have to shoot them, and it become a situation where they raising themselves. When we got that and they out here raising themselves, trying to find ways to eat on themselves, we got hungry wolves walking around in a pack around the world trying to eat without instructions. It ain't rocket science, man. It's what we gonna get.
Go ahead, P.
There's so many different times growing up where I'm playing Asteroids or I'm playing Space Invaders in the store and somebody, P, go home. We about to be out
right
here.
Now. It's about to be a problem.
About to be some issues out here. Go take your little ass home. You know what I'm saying? Even though you're curious, you listen and you take your ass home. Then later on, you heard that Blase spleen.
On the news,
you know what I'm saying?
They saved you.
And then they wasn't really shooting to kill. They just shooting to get you off, get from around here. Supposed to be around here. You know what I'm saying? If somebody else come on your block or whatever from a different area, you might get in the legs or, you know what I'm saying? Now it's just no morals, no nothing. They shooting over ice cream flavors. I don't know what they shooting over, but nothingness. Kids outside, your mom on the porch. You know what I'm saying? It's getting worse.
I'm with Gilly, man. It's some coward shit.
Yeah.
If you that afraid that you not gonna see me to the point where you gotta catch me whenever you can with whoever I'm with, you scary as fuck. Turn your gun in and go get a job, man. Stop it.
For me, man, it's just the same old story. It's the same sad tale. It's the access to guns, man. You know,
exactly.
They giving out guns like they're giving out candy, man. Everybody and their mama got a gun. So if you got a gun, you got to use it. In these cats, is easier to shoot than it is to break skin. You know
right.
what I mean? And they don't understand the repercussions of it until they sit in first 48 crying. It's fun and games until they put them bracelets on you. Then it becomes real.
Until you got 1,000 years. But I think, again, it go even further than that. We cannot blame the gun. It's the motherfucker behind it. And we cannot get to a situation where we want to get rid of the guns because there's certain situations where you need them. If that boy didn't have that gun when that man was punching his mama in the face, she'd be dead or brain damaged right now. It's certain situations where these aggressive, fake thug ass niggas need to be put in check or laid down. And that's just what it is.
See, and that's what the difference is between you and I. Nobody is saying not to be able to have guns. It's the access to have guns of war is what I'm talking about.
Amen.
You know what I mean? And what they doing is they giving these kids access to guns of war because they don't give a damn about us. They know once they put them out there, what we gonna do with them, what they gonna do with them. They gonna shoot up each other, and that's what they want.
They sure shit not going in the suburbs. They're not going to no county, no court building, no all these motherfuckers talking that shit about Trump, but at least they was willing to fight for what they believe in. All these motherfuckers running around with these guns talking about the problems and this and that and the other, but they won't do shit. They rather shoot each other. That shit is crazy. It's insane.
I think it comes to a point where there's so much shooting and there's so much access to us seeing these shootings because now it's not just the news, 247, ABC, this, that, and the other. You got the internet, you got cable outlets, and people are
platforms.
You're becoming desensitized to the actual killing and violence. So you can't go shoot somebody and then think that you're gonna see them the next day, like when we used to knuckle up back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Because now he embarrassed. Now he got to get rid of you to save face and blah, blah, blah. But it go even deeper than that, P. What about the fact that they will give all kind of infrastructure and resources for physical disabilities, but the mentally disabled, they continue to defund and push out here among us. There's a whole bunch of people out here that are unstable among the crowd. It's always going to be a situation where it's a problem if we have that.
And those are the people who don't need guns.
That's the guns, right? The fuck are we doing? It's almost like they know what they're doing, right?
They do know what they're doing. They making money hand over fist, and that's the
bottom line.
They're not gonna change it. The mayor of Baltimore said about their shooting that happened over the 4th of July. All the guns, the majority of the guns that they are recovering are not from the state of Maryland. They're coming from outside the state of Maryland. Because it's big business at the end of the day, and that's the reason why they're not pushing to change the laws, because they're making too much money off of it, and they rather make money than save lives. So that's the truth on that. So
it's just like the rest of the shit. They got the ATF out there trying to regulate the shit, but at the same time, we want motherfuckers to fill out these applications and shit in the gun stores. It's the same motherfucker, just like with the weed, who got the shit from the gun store, got it in his trunk, and he out in the street selling that shit. So they getting them legally. They making motherfuckers do the shit legally. It's the enterprising motherfucker that want to be stealing and taking the shit out the trunk and then take it to the street with no morals and values on what the person buying it gonna do with it. They don't care.
Listen, Josie, some of these states, you don't need shit. You just go buy the motherfucker.
In the right in the fucking whatever meetup they got, or whatever
Walmart, the gun store. You know what I mean? Not only can you go in there and get it, you can walk with it on your hip. You know?
Tennessee.
So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go into our next topic. All of this is tied into one thing, one thread, and we're going to get into threads later, but it's tied into one thing, and it's all about voting. Next year we're going to have to go out and vote, and a lot of this shit that's not happening is because of the vote.
We're not doing that.
You know what I'm saying? So the next thing we're gonna
give it to them, give it to them, hey, give it to them, come on, hey, give it to them, give it to them,
yeah, man. So the next thing we're gonna get into is the whole striking down of the affirmative action type thing. So before we get into talking about it and discussing it a little bit, is we're gonna break down what affirmative action is, or what it was. You know what I'm saying? And by who we're gonna have do that is we're gonna have Professor Lewis Gates break down to us what affirmative action is. So we're gonna go ahead and get into that, fellas. So bear with me for one moment.
When I was born, the color line in America wasn't just a fact of life, it was the law of the land. But by the time I was old enough to go to college, Black students had begun to integrate the nation's historically white colleges and universities in significant numbers for the very first time. The key to our rise was affirmative action.
In 1965, Lyndon Johnson goes to Howard University and he gives a speech where he talks about the need to have affirmative action in federal employment and federal contract opportunities.
You do not take a person who for years has been hobbled by chains and liberate him, bringing up to the starting line of a race, and then say, you are free to compete with all the others, and still justly believe that you have been completely fair.
In the following years, affirmative action would dramatically transform college admission policies, and I was among its first beneficiaries. The class that entered Yale with me in September 1969 was comprised of the largest number of Black students ever admitted. All too soon, however, affirmative action came under attack.
The pushback against affirmative action was almost immediate. In 1977, Alan Bakke applied to go to medical school in the University of California system. He was denied entry, and so he sued, saying that lower standards had been applied to American entrants.
What Alan Bakke complained about was the fact that there was a set aside for 16 students of color to gain admission. His argument was that he was being subject to reverse discrimination.
Alan Bakke won his reverse discrimination case today, but affirmative action programs to help minority students won also.
The Supreme Court ruled that racial quotas were unconstitutional, but it upheld affirmative action programs that take the ethnicity of applicants into account in college admissions, both to help overcome past discrimination and to foster diversity as a core value of the educational experience. Since then, affirmative action has further been rolled back, mostly through cases related to college admissions. With current litigation pending in the increasingly conservative courts, affirmative action's days may be numbered.
There's never been a period where any effort to integrate African Americans into American society was not immediately denounced as preferential treatment. Adjusting the criteria for admission for students of color who have not had the same kind of access and who frankly bring a different knowledge base to the university, that's not preferential treatment. That's equal access.
So yeah, man, as I was saying before we got into that video of Dr. Lewis Gates, and thank him for that. You know what I mean? Shout out to PBS for those specials. As I said, it all ties into voting. With it being struck down within the last week or two, Trump got 2 Supreme Justices in. You know what I'm saying?
Just that quick.
So you got to realize that voting does have consequences and repercussions. So don't fall into the trap of when people tell you it don't matter, this and that and the third, man. Don't fall into that. But P, after seeing that little clip, what comes to your mind?
What comes to my mind is the qualifications. When people say he got in because of what he looks like or his ethnicity or his color or whatever,
you still have to
be
scrutiny.
You still have to be qualified. You know what I'm saying? A school, say like an Ivy League school like Harvard, that's looking to diversify, recruits students of color. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to recruit a student that doesn't qualify, that's not a smart student, and it's not taking a spot away from anyone else because they're looking to diversify the college. Now, if that's not fair, how is legacy admissions fair?
Right.
How can an unqualified student whose father's name is on the wall or who gave money is able to get into the school that doesn't have the same brain power as a minority that they recruited to come to the school? So it's all trick knowledge. You know what I'm saying? They try to make it seem as if, oh, you got in because you were black. No, I got in because I was qualified, and your school needs diversity. You know what I'm saying? How did you get in?
Exactly.
Because your father owned Blase Splee, or, you know what I'm saying, his name's on the wall, or there's a statue, or if there's a legacy because your father and your grandfather went to the school.
He was in the graduating class with the dean. It don't even got to be he gave no bread. You just know somebody that knows somebody. We just went through watching them do a whole prosecution and take a bunch of celebrities to jail because they paid college admissions to let their kids in. But you got the nerve to have a problem with somebody that could get in that's actually qualified? That's craziness. And again, it certainly also goes to show that when they changed the laws because we got independence, it was because they had classified us as 2/3 a human. Because originally, when the laws were written, to kill another human being, you were sentenced to some form of death or some form of alternate punishment. But if you kill somebody who was 2/3 a human, there was no punishment.
Because we were
punishment for any of the things that they did to us. So once we became independent and they decided to let us go, it still was something that they fought. It still was something that they continued to argue against and say was unfair. The crazy shit that I learned was that they paid the slave owners like they do the farmers when they released the slaves into independence for lost revenue. And they still complained.
Property. Lost property.
Of course. For us,
that's like burning down your building, getting the insurance money, and then bitching to the motherfuckers that you don't got no building no more. Man, if you don't cut it out.
For us, by us. was used even way before we even started. We started using for us by us.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying? They try to say they struck down this thing so that people will get in because of merit. This is going to be a simply merit thing, in which we all know that's
bullshit.
For the things that you said, P, as far as the legacies and all that stuff, and the athletes and different things that get in for rowing and all of those types of things. You know what I'm saying?
You know what the crazy shit that they ignore though? This motherfucker concerned about the 16 slots that they reserved for black people, but there had to be thousands that were already filled up with all the white people because you was the last one on the list and all of your people beat you out. Now you want to come point light on us because you the dun-dun-dun in the crew. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Fucking compete with them.
The crazy thing, the biggest thing is it was struck down by fucking Clarence Thomas, who got to be where he is
because of affirmative action.
On the strength of it, which is the crazy thing. So fuck you, Clarence Thomas. So we're gonna keep moving, man, and we're gonna keep it moving on this whole vote type thing on this.
Give it to them, give it to them, give it to them, hey, give it to them.
Let us know what y'all thinking.
Yeah, man. Again, Josie, say it again because they didn't hear you because of
they was giving it to them. I understand. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, and comment down below. Let us know what y'all thinking. Let us know your opinions. Let us know how y'all feel about how we feel.
No doubt.
That's peace, yo. So on this next topic, man, is another big topic. And again, this is all tied into voting. 2024 is going to be a big year, man. You got to get out there and rock that vote. So this is
these fuckers out of here.
So this is Peace to the God. This is about Yusuf Salam. And for those who may not know who Yusuf Salam is, he is one of the Central Park Five. After those charges were dropped and they were exonerated from the BS, he put his life together and he's running for councilman in the borough of Harlem, man. So what we're going to do is this, man. We're going to check out Yusuf's story and then we're going to come back and we're going to react to it, y'all.
Salam of the exonerated five seems to have prevailed in central Harlem. Supporters at Salam's election night headquarters seemed energized by the contest, in which he promised fresh blood, change, and solutions to the failures of the criminal justice system.
This campaign has been about those who have been counted out. This campaign has been about those who have been forgotten. All right. This campaign has been about our Harlem community who has been pushed into the margins of life.
But P, give me some thoughts on Yusuf Salam.
I like the fact that as a teenager, he went through so much, and to be accused of a heinous crime that he didn't commit, and for Trump to put an ad in the paper to have these kids executed, I think he wanted them to get the electric chair without even knowing
that
if they were actually guilty. And I think the universe works its way in a way where there's a reason for everything. And there's a reason why he's in politics. And at this particular time, I think he's going to make some noise in Harlem, and he's going to end up making some noise politically in the future in other areas also. So I'm proud. I just love to see people come through the negativity, you know what I'm saying, to do something positive. And he's in Harlem, you know where he's from. He's going to make some noise in Harlem, and he's going to go further in politics. You know?
Josie?
Man, salute to that kid. Salute to everybody that supported him. Salute for having the resilience to be able to not only get through it, overcome it, seek out a community, put forward a team, develop a motherfucking plan to run and execute. That ain't easy, and it take a lot of balls and a lot of planning and a lot of late nights, hard work, and a lot of ignoring the people that supported him. So I know that it took a lot for him to do that, and salute for being the one to do things that normal, ordinary people won't do. And I like the fit too. I respected his swag.
No doubt, no doubt. If you're gonna be up there, you might as well be fresh.
Up there, you gotta be out there. Had the marquee ring on, wasn't a lot of diamonds, got the pinstripes, it was cut. Said, okay, you got a tailor. They ain't playing.
And look at the example he's setting for the youth. You know what I'm saying? He's good. He's a great example of someone doing and not just talking.
I was listening to a reel the other day where they were talking about how this generation was supposed to be the generation to fix it, and instead they are turning around and giving the keys to everything to everyone else. They are no longer responsible for their own destiny. They ain't trying to create their own platforms. They ain't trying to create their own nothing. They buying into the subscription model of everybody else and following the fucking crowd. And the problem with that is just the same as it is with AWS or Amazon Web Services. If you build it on their platform and their platinum goes down, then you go down too. When Amazon Web Services go down, it takes down 300 other businesses. You have to build your own. You have to be in control of your own shit. You gotta at least try. The fuck.
Yeah, shout out to Yusuf Salam, man. For me, that's a tell of
perseverance
and belief, because we've all been knocked down. And it's not how you get down, you get knocked down, it's how you bounce back up from it.
Man.
And obviously he's taken, as I like to say, he's managed to use all the bullshit to his advantage. So shout out to him, man, for running out there for councilman in Harlem, man. And we're gonna be checking for you. We're gonna be checking for you.
Yeah,
so,
we're watching.
So with that being said, we're gonna
Yeah. Give it to them. Hey, give it to them. Come on. Hey, give it to them.
Yeah, Josie, it's a nice segue. You were talking about platforms and different things of that nature. And speaking of platforms, this week a new platform was launched, and it's called Threads. And in 3 days, it got up to 25-30 million subscribers, I should say.
86 million subscribers in 3 days. It's just crazy.
I am definitely on Threads. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into this little video, and then we come back, we're going to react to it.
Meta released a new social media platform overnight that some are calling a Twitter killer. It's called Threads, and it links to your Instagram account. Mark Zuckerberg is saying that 10 million people signed up in just the first 7 hours.
Yeah, that was the crazy part.
Shit.
Mark Zuckerberg appears to be throwing his weight around with the launch of Threads. It's described as a text-based conversation app linked to Instagram. It could be a formidable threat for Twitter boss Elon Musk, whose platform's user base is a fraction of Instagram's.
If only 1 in 10 Instagram users tries using Threads, it's overtaken Twitter in the blink of an eye.
Musk is facing fresh criticism over new daily limits on the number of tweets users can read. CNET.com senior editor Bridget Carey.
With all the changes that have happened to Twitter right now, it's not as useful as it was before. Far from it. It's basically trash.
Since his Twitter takeover, Musk drastically cut staff, thrown out content moderation rules, and monetize a verification process. Threads is just one of several competitors taking aim at Twitter, including Mastodon, Blue Sky, launched by Twitter's inventor Jack Dorsey, and Spill, which is positioning itself as the new Black Twitter.
Twitter was an amazing, once-in-a-lifetime resource where it was a true public square where people could really find information at a moment.
While their businesses are squaring off, so might Musk and Zuckerberg. Both have taken up mixed martial arts, with Musk challenging his Meta rival to a cage match.
We should be focusing on how to make these apps better, not who can land the first punch. It's ridiculous. Social media is so important to so many people to stay connected. It's some people's only lifeline.
For CBS Mornings, Jonathan Vigliotti in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I know people who have
That's what I'm talking about, Fro. Just put me up on game. I ain't know about Spill. That's a new one.
Knockoff of Twitter.
Got to get on there.
So once again, y'all, Chuck D has Bring the Noise. Shout out to Chuck, y'all.
Shout out to Chuck.
Bring the Noise. I am on Bring the Noise as well. So y'all go out, get in on bring the noise as well. But
man, that's right. Support our people, man. Stop talking this bullshit about everybody else and all their platforms and the evil they do with their money when you won't support your own. Support our people. I don't care if you don't use it. Go fucking subscribe.
I'm subscribing to that right now. Bring the noise.
Bring the noise is the name of the app. But yeah, man, like I said, I heard about it on Tuesday. I'm an avid watcher of Morning Joe. They talked about it on Morning Joe. I am not a fan of Elon Musk, and I have to say, since he took over Twitter, it has become kind of garbage. A lot of ads, a lot of stuff like that, and then he wants you to pay for your name,
check mark.
Your check mark, and all of that nonsense. And then now he's slow. You can only see so many threads. So he did this to himself. And Zuckerberg jumped down the lane and said, "You want to piss people off? I'm gonna go ahead and jump in."
Right. I disagree. Now, what I will say is this: if y'all been watching the news lately, right? They've been going back and forth with each other, shooting jabs on Twitter and Instagram. And then they also had a poll going around where they decided to agree to a cage match. They want to fucking fight each other. So they have not agreed to the cage match. They putting that shit to the side. So now they swinging blows with their money. Pay attention. Zuckerberg just swung the first blow. Now, again, Musk got enough money to compete. So let's see what he do with Twitter. But I think that's exactly the point. Not only did he make a bunch of changes, he cut a lot of fat. He cut almost 50% of their workforce and their motherfucking expenses, which means that he can afford to survive and fight back.
But just like I said, as being an avid Twitter user, the app has changed.
It definitely changed
since he's been in control. And that's the reason why everybody went over there to thread it as well. Yep. Yeah, it's a good look. I like it. It's very similar to Twitter.
It works way better.
Twitter
has some glitches and shit. Fucking thread work way better. Now the crazy shit is I heard about this shit on Clubhouse. I rented to the room. It was 1,600 people. I signed up while I was there. I posted a bunch of pictures. I got about 100 fucking followers. It ain't been 3 hours.
Anybody that you following or that's
on
following you on Instagram and they are on Thread will automatically become a follower.
So it looks like Zuckerberg looked at Twitter, saw what was not happening, and created his own.
To compete. So, you know what? You want to fight? Okay, let's fight. Let me show you what I could do. I'm going to come and be real disrespectful. He'll go clone to your whole business.
And I'm going to make it better.
Exactly. You know what Zuckerberg said? Oh, you McDonald's? I'm Burger King.
That's what I was about to bring up. I'm about to get your Whopper to your Big Mac.
Exactly.
Every time you drop something.
Exactly.
I'm going to come back.
Exactly, man. So, yeah, we're going to keep it moving.
Yeah, this fuck, give it to them. Hey, give it to them.
Lie low, y'all.
All right, man. So the next one, again, is on this thread about voting and being conscious. You know what I'm saying? About what's going on in the Black community, in the world, period. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, our sister Jill Scott has made her own rendition of the national anthem that's been getting a lot of attention. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into Miss Jill Scott's rendition of the national anthem. And we're going to come back and we're going to
yeah, this fuck, give it to them. Hey, give it to them. Come on, hey, give it to them.
You know, if I know Jill Scott, it's America's national anthem now. We couldn't adopt it.
All right. So, yeah, here we go, man. Let's go ahead and get into Miss Jilly from Philly.
Oh, say, can you see by the blood in the streets that this place doesn't smile? with sweat and their hands, but you'll die in this place, and your memory reigns. Oh, say, does this truth hold any weight? This is not the land of the but the home of the
I knew she was gonna say that. Yes.
Give it to me, Josie.
Man, enough respect. Jilly from Philly. I was expecting for it to be so soulful and so beautiful that it took over everybody and became the new national anthem. But I like the shock and awe of that better. There isn't a way, if you hear that, for you to ignore it. I don't care if you was a part of it. I don't care if you agree with it. If you disagree with it, you won't be able to hear that and ignore it. And it's the truth. You also can't deny it.
P.
Jill is one of my favorites, man. I love
favorites of all time.
And she's always been just conscious of what's going on.
I dare somebody say something bad about her.
Jill don't live here, bro. Jill lives in Ghana, man.
Another planet.
She don't even live here because she doesn't want to raise her son in this country. That's how bad it is. Now, this song is obviously a protest song. And she's done this before. You know what I mean? She's had these lyrics before. She got songs about the environment, about how to pollute the environment, about a whole lot of different things. She's just so conscious. She's so soulful. And I'm behind her 100%. She told no lies. No lies in the song. You know what I'm saying? I'm rolling with Jilly from Philly, man.
It's powerful, man. When I first heard it and just sit back and just listen to her blow,
man,
the way she does and where she comes from where it's coming straight from the soul. And like you said earlier, Josie, it's nothing but realness. You know what I'm saying? And again, y'all, it's all into this one thread, man. We are best hope to do anything out here, man. We got to stay together and roll together, man.
Yeah.
The only way that's going to happen is if we get knowledge of self so that we know who we are, so that we will be able to know where we stand.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree with all of that. And I heard a quote recently and that shit struck me real hard. And the shit said, there is not one of us that is as strong as all of us. Period.
There it is. And that makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? 100 always is going to beat one. You know what I'm saying? Peace to Miss Jill Scott, man. We're coming close to the end of this episode of Give It to Them Friday, man. Before we do wrap this up, man, there's a couple things I want to touch with you gentlemen before we go further. We're all fathers, and Father's Day just passed this last couple weeks, and this video just recently just popped up on the web. So I'm going to share it with y'all, and then we're going to come back and react to it. All right? So here we go.
Don't worry about that. I want you to do it till I tell you to stop.
Go, start! Let's go! Come on. Come on. Pick it up. Pick it up. That's it. That's it. Let's go. Let's go. It's
Can't even go hard on the last sentence. Good job. Come on.
First of all, I want to say my biggest thing is that it's on camera. You know what I'm saying? That's my biggest thing first and foremost.
That you exploiting your fucking child.
That it's on camera. Now we can get into him pushing his son that way, but there's many ways that you can look at that. You could say that he's trying to show him that he can push through things that he says that he can't do. Now, this is one way that you could look at it. And then there's another way you can look at it like, yo, that's all types of wrong for you to have your seed up there and pushing him like that when he's telling you, I can't. Some people are going to run with that and call it abuse, call it child abuse, because that's where we are.
That's what it is.
Where we are in society. Okay, so go ahead and elaborate on that, Josie.
Man, I feel triggered. And I want to punch the nigga in the mouth. I couldn't have been there in the room with him and let him do that to that boy. Number of different reasons, right? Number one, if he's an athlete or has done any training like that, then he knows once that motherfucker muscles get to the point where they cramp up, he can blow his muscles, he can fuck up his body to a point where it cannot repair or come back. You cannot push him to the point where he can't, and then you push him past that when it comes to building muscles in an undeveloped body. That's some bullshit. Secondly, I feel like to hear him scream and cry like he's in pain and not be compassionate about what your child is going through physically and mentally means that's more for you than it is for the child. And because of that, you a dick. The fuck was that? Yeah, I don't even want to keep talking about this shit because I want to go see the nigga right now.
P, what's your take, P?
Yeah, I don't think it should have been on camera. That's my only issue. The issue, because I grew up
with your child for views.
I grew up in sports. I grew up being pushed. I grew up with, it's not your body that's weak. When he was screaming, I can't, it wasn't his body, it was his mind. You know what I'm saying? The only issue I have, again, is with the filming of it. The pushing your son to the next level so he understands that he can fight through things, and him screaming, I can't, to me, that's negativity. So the father saying you can, to me, is positive reinforcement. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask a question though?
I was always taught to listen to what a coach is saying, not how he's saying it, because he's giving it to you for a reason. I've been called all kinds of dickheads and what the fuck are you doing in the backfield? Why did you make that fucking pass? Because I was wrong. And I have to look at it that way. You know what I'm saying? You can't build weaklings and expect a nation build at the same time. When he said, I can't, and his father would have just stopped and let him say, okay, you can't do it, you just can't do it.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying don't push him. And I'm not saying for the coaches not to push you. But calling you a dickhead, a motherfucker, all that abuse was still abuse. Even if it pushed you to be great, it was still fucking abuse. That's all I'm saying.
It was abuse to a different generation. I think our generation,
could it have been a situation, P, since you've been pushed, could it have been a situation where he was saying he couldn't because his muscles was locking up and he pushed through it and said, fuck it, because his father was making him and he be in the bed hurt and can't move tomorrow? Is that a possibility?
As a young person, your muscles locking up, I don't think that's too likely. And I think his father knew how far, because if this is his son, he knows how far to push him. You know what I'm saying? This is your seed. You know how much your seed can take. And if your seed screaming, I can't do it after a small amount of exercise, then you know it's him quitting mentally.
It don't seem like he cared if he could take it. And it was 6 sets. That
But
ain't
fam,
no small
if he
amount
didn't
of
care, if
exercise.
he didn't care, he wouldn't be in there with him at all.
He would if he was trying to live vicariously through him. Again, Joe Jackson was a fucking father too now.
But let me give you some context, Josie. And again, like I said, I am not saying that Dwight Howard was right in his methods, but I can understand what he was trying to do. Now, this guy that I showed you, he's a pro athlete. He's not just you or me trying to train their child. He is a pro athlete. As I said, my biggest pet peeve was him filming the whole exercise and putting his son through the regimen.
On Front Street like that, too.
I'm just saying, being a pro athlete, he been through the same shit P was just talking about since he was a little kid. That's how he was taught. That's how he gonna teach. But don't blow your son fucking muscles out or limbs out for the privilege. That's some bullshit. But I hear y'all. I may be misjudging. Hey.
No, you entitled to your
opinion.
You
entitled to your opinion, fam. We understand what you're saying, too.
I still may, again, be misjudging based on what I saw, because I would have took him off the bike, talked him through it, and pushed him in a different way, and then put him back on the bike and made him do the sets. It didn't have to be abuse in order for you to get the work out of him. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. That's true. It's more than one way to skin a cat.
Skin a cat. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that was the second to last topic. The last topic of
give it to them. Give it to them. Hey, give it to them. Come on. Hey, give it to them.
So Josie, me and P are stupid sports fans. So within this last week, ESPN did a mass layoff. They let a lot of boys go.
They pulled the Elon Musk, huh? They
fired our mans in them.
They trimmed the fat. Tell your mans in them get their weight up.
They let a lot of folks go, and some of the people that was gone, I root for me. It's who I root for in life. That's who I root for.
That's what we do.
I root for me.
Period.
And when I watch the NBA games, and I watch, especially on ESPN, the best announcing team in sports, in my humble opinion, in sports, period, is Van Gundy,
Money Mark,
and Action Jackson.
Money Mark.
Hey, they done took my team away from me, man. They done
Money
fired
Mark Jackson.
They done fired Van Gundy.
Balky Van Crapchester is gone.
Man, listen.
Now, let me say this.
They let him go.
As somebody who's gone through a couple of corporate restructurings, when they had them boys come in, it's a list. All the motherfuckers that came last is the first to go because you got the least seniority. All the motherfuckers whose numbers ain't as well as the top 10% is the first to go. You ain't got the motherfucking weight to pull your weight around or to pull your fucking commitment to this company. And when it comes to shit like that, if their numbers weren't as good as somebody else, who may not be as good at the delivery, but may have better numbers, then
that's not the case.
That's the case in corporate world. This is the corporate world, but this is a case of cost cutting.
That's what I'm saying. They gonna go with whoever got the highest viewership.
It didn't have to do with their personal numbers on views. It had to do with their numbers on their check. Is the reason why they cut back, because they gave Pat McAfee, they gave him a stupid, dumb contract to come over there. Then they paid Troy Aikman and Buck last year to do the Monday night game. Them two dudes a boatload of money. Then you got Screaming A. He's not going to be outdone. He got his chicken.
I didn't say they didn't have no money. I said they only gonna spend it on the people that can command the viewership. If you ain't bringing eyeballs, you can take that shit somewhere else.
But Josie, what we're saying is the team that we're talking about with Van Gundy and Money Mark, they bring viewership. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying they don't. I'm simply saying it's gonna be a list. If it's 20 motherfuckers and I
You just said if they ain't bringing the viewers, that's why they got ran.
Correct. And I'm trying to explain what I'm talking about. I'm going deeper into that. If you got 20 motherfuckers, right? And like you said, these couple of motherfuckers that we went and gave this bread to, they got 20 billion motherfuckers, and you got 2. Y'all still both got viewers, but it's different.
I think it's a gamble, and I think it's fucked up. It's a gamble because McAfee and these boys got these podcasts and they got viewers. But that doesn't mean it's going to translate over to ESPN.
They don't care nothing about that. It's data. They don't care about whether it translates. They trying to sell fucking commercials.
And
it ain't about the basketball. That's the part we don't get. They don't give a fuck about y'all talking about basketball. They trying to sell commercials. And to be able to sell commercials, I gotta be able to say, I'm gonna put your shit in front of this many people.
If we're not watching, we ain't gonna see the commercials.
Don't matter. They pay for them already. If you don't see them or not, I got the check. Fuck
I'm
off.
not buying shit if I don't see the motherfucking commercials.
Yeah, so yeah, man. ESPN
could kiss my ass. They got rid of Jalen too, man.
ESPN selling plenty of commercials without nobody seeing nothing because they got the data. They can say on a weekly, on a monthly, on a yearly basis, we got X number of motherfuckers.
Shit ain't gonna translate. McAfee, fam.
Drop that paper.
Nobody want to see that shit, man.
Unfortunately for Jalen, I think his days was numbered.
Anyway. Yeah, he's too outspoken and shit.
After they got the divorce.
Yeah.
I think that was what that was.
Combative.
But yeah, man, that was episode 19 of
Give it to them. Hey, give it to them. Come on, hey, give it to them. Give it to them.
So yeah, that was episode 19. Give it to them Friday, man. Thank y'all for tuning in to Men of a Certain Age. Please share and subscribe. Mr. Josie, do you have anything else to say before we ride out of here?
Nothing at all except hashtag DJ Shay forever.
P Double, what you got for us?
Yo,
man?
I want to give a shout out to 716. I want to give a shout out to Griselda. I want to give a shout out to Rest in Peace, my cousin Prick. I want to shout out my cousin Sean 2 times. You know what I'm saying? Also, always, DJ Shay forever, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's forever and always. No doubt.
And as always, man, as we end these episodes, man, as long as the love and the trust is there, we gonna grow, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. DJ Shay forever, man. Peace.
Peace.